The Angels Flight Railway, at just 2 feet short of a football field, 298 feet, it is one of, if not the shortest railway in the world. Originally built in 1901, it has stood tall on Bunker Hill for almost that entire time. The 2 coaches and small section of rail form what is called a funicular railway. That's a railway on an incline, in this case 33%, with 2 counterbalance coaches to travel up and down the slope, connected via a cable. They are quite a rare sight here in the United States, as only a handful exist. This one may be the most famous, as it has starred in many Hollywood movies, being as it's located in Los Angeles. With a one-way ticket only costing $1, it's a pretty good bargain as well. I had the opportunity to talk to the operator and one of the historians of the Angels Flight Railway, and she gave some amazing information about this spectacular piece of engineering. I asked her what she loved about it, and this is what she had to say.
Back in the day, Bunker Hill was where the elite had their mansions, and they would commute down to the newly minted banking industry down along those, well, you can see it yourself. The hill was the ideal place for them to live because you get the views and you also get the cool breeze. Most of these people were coming from the northeast and dressed in their proper Victorian attire. Were hardly going to be walking up and down the hill. Even a horse and carriage would have had to make a significant detour to come up the hill. So that's why Colonel Eddie, who was a big elk, made this. If you go down to the arch in the front of it, you'll see there's a big BPOE written on the top, the Benevolent Protectorship of Elks. And in fact, it sort of bleeds over into the whole Angel's Flight motif, because this car is Sinai and the other one's name is Olivet, the hills of the Holy Land. There's all this like other stuff involved with that, but we don't need to get into that. So Angel's Flight was running until 1969, but soon after it was built, it wasn't that long, maybe only a decade later, that this no longer became where the elite wanted to be. It was just too close to the hoi polloi, and they went like, farther out, different parts of town. And then a lot of those bigger old mansions became boarding houses, or even flop houses, and Angel's Flight was used in a lot of film noir movies at that time, the 30s and 40s, Kiss Me Deadly, etc., etc. And then, of course, it was also just known as being a place where just degenerates lived, like Charles Bukowski and John Fante and, those guys. So in 1969 was when the city finally decided that it was going to allow some skyscrapers to be built in downtown, and Angel's Flight was dismantled and put into storage. So that's how the skyscrapers came to be here, and we were supposed to be put right back on the hill, but it didn't happen again until 1996. So here we are, back again on the hill in all our glory.
Is it in the original spot still?
That's an excellent question. No, it is not. It is about half a block down the street. It was actually where the 2nd Street tunnel is now.
Ah, interesting.
Yes, so when they did get it back on the hill, this was the spot. And it's actually really ideal because it's right next to an undeveloped piece of land known as Angel's Knoll, which keeps getting slated for development because the city does not want to use it as a park. It is worth way too much money. But unfortunately, a lot of politicians got in trouble, and everybody who gets their little fingers in the pot ends up going to prison, like Jose Luisa. So yeah, it's still ours and it's still there, but you do have to hop a fence to get into it.
You can really hear the passion she has for this, and who can blame her? This little railway has such a deep history, from its building, its dismantling and storage, and even today with its ridership and slightly newer safety features. While it has retained a lot of its original structure, there have been some improvements made over the years. Now that this car is at the bottom, let's take a trip to the top and see what there is to see now that all the original mansions are gone. Climbing aboard, you can see the car is stepped. The seats are flat and level, giving you a good place to sit, but each is higher than the last, almost like stadium seating. There is lighting in the car. Unfortunately, the camera was just having a hard time picking it up. It's actually much brighter than it seems. Inside, you will find some artwork, beautiful woodwork, and plenty of places to hold on to. Now let's get up front and watch the magic happen. Angel's Flight is unique with its gauge, as the rails are only 2 feet 6 inches apart. The passing area is also interesting, as the single rail becomes 2 and then rejoins into 1. At this point on the railway, the coaches are less than 5 inches apart. definitely make sure to keep your hands inside the car on this one. And just like that, in a little more than a minute, we're at the top, having ascended 96 feet. Much easier than walking. Angel's Flight might be small, but it holds the title of World's Most Traveled Railway, having served well over 100 million passengers and counting. Its busiest week on record was in 1909, where it transported more than 60,000 passengers in just 7 days. Luckily for us, it wasn't nearly that busy when we decided to check it out. It does not run 24/7, but does run all day and fairly late into the night. Once you reach the top, you are greeted by the old winch house and what is now California Plaza Park. This spot holds events and is just a nice place to come walk around. When I visited, it was the holiday season and they were all decorated with large Christmas trees and a very nice light show. It was great to watch all the lights dance around while being in the City of Angels, Los Angeles. It really makes you feel like you're one of the stars. After paying our $2, it's time to head back down. The fare is $1 each way, and you can pay by cash or card, and you even get a ticket that you can take home with you. You can see the lighting much better in this shot, and just how far down the trip will be. I would much rather pay $1 than take the stairs. Not only that, but as you've seen, it's a super cool experience. There is so much more to this tiny railway than meets the eye, and I hope you learned something new. While this adventure might be coming to an end, there are many more for us to go on. Next month, we will be back on Amtrak heading to San Francisco from Los Angeles, so make sure to subscribe if you want to see that. If you want your name in the end of the video, become a YouTube member today. Your extra support means the world to me and helps keep videos like this possible. So until next time, I'll see you on the rails for another epic adventure.